little bit of a hanky dank there. All right. Get this all straightened out and ready to go. Out and ready to go.
Test.
You're good. Turn the audio down on here. Mute that. Finish setting up. This will take me about 10 seconds. Keep this from here. Just trying to set something up that I couldn't quite figure out, so I would like to see if I can still figure it out, but show must go on regardless.
Yeah, one thing I want to figure out is that how do we get the algorithm to have like both our pictures in motion when we share this live on social media? That way people click it real time instead of seeing the logo. Because sometimes I think we have to wait in like 5-10 minutes for it to catch up. And then when you share it on, like I say, Facebook, you see both our pictures like this with your caption, if that makes sense.
No, I don't understand any of what you just said.
I'm gonna show you a screenshot.
Why did you wait till we came live to voice this?
No, I just thought about it real time. Okay, yes, I see what you
Oh, that's
did.
why.
Because when you do this, I go into my YouTube and I try to promote. But I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna text you right now that you'll see in Facebook Messenger. Boom. Take a look at that. It's like when I share it, that will come up. That's what you set it to when you program this episode. So we're still learning as we go. Please excuse the Rudolph the reindeer or reindeer nose here, guys. I've been eating too much chocolate.
All right, so we're good.
Yeah, we can get started, brother.
Let me just make sure my team on this. So that's what I was doing. Never. Very annoying. All right, thank you. Well, looks like we're about to be good to go, which is always a good thing, right?
Mhm.
Okay. That is going to be a powerful thing. That is going to be from now on. Okay. So while we're live, let me take a quick look and make sure that they can see both of us. Oh yeah, we have the lot side by side that you love so much.
Yes, that's the first thing I look for. Definitely, I will speak on that because I think that's very pivotal to the dialogue
I
discussion.
don't think anybody cares.
Okay, well, family, drop a comment if you care that we're side by side, not he's talking and then I'm talking.
I
Routine.
think that alternating between the two and the side by side and keeping it diverse without it always being one dynamic shot will keep you in the YouTube algorithm rather than getting kicked out. And I happen to think that because of the notes I got from YouTube. So
They're the authority.
uh, it was one of the things that we had a problem with when I was trying to monetize. They don't allow that. So it was one of the things that's why I always switch the camera angle, so you can't have a static camera angle on both of us. They don't allow that. If you ever watch any of the other moderators or pundits that are actually doing something, not the guys trying to do something, that's why the camera angles switching it at always side by side or always on top of each other because you cannot have a dynamic camera shot. YouTube doesn't allow it. But I digress. It looks like we can get ready to get started. I'm gonna give a few more minutes for people to come in. I got a couple other things I'm working on right now. Okay. So one of the things we have a lot to talk about as always, don't we? Well, no,
Well,
I cut a lot of the stuff out. I'm trying to get
thank
to
you.
the
That's what I
nitty
was trying to
gritty.
get to. Yes, that's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
I mean, it's still a lot, and I don't want to get started before people started coming in because it's so much. I mean, it's not a lot as far as amount. It's a lot as far as how serious each topic is, how prolific each category can become. All right, what is happening? I would like to get started. Time is ticking. Well, in the interim, I'm going to be to help fund this movie. I'm doing a Kickstarter campaign, so I will be advertising my Kickstarter campaign here. Anybody that wants to reach in and give a helping hand to my first feature film that'll be available on multiple streaming platforms. This will be a way to do it, and people that contribute could be associate producers, co-producers, even executive producers, which each tier of support comes with its own benefits, everything from being listed in the credits to actually being able to come and being involved in shoots to showing up at the premiere with a gold ticket, you know? So
So you got the slide deck you want to cut away to with the packages or the QR code
no, because I just set it up today, but I am going to have that. I'm
on the
definitely going
next
to do a commercial.
episode and do it at midway the segment. Hey, oh, and by the way, and then
Oh yeah. There's definitely going to be commercials. There's going to be a commercial. 100%. I just set it up today. I'm
yeah.
working with a different team putting that together. And what I'm really waiting for is to start seeing people come in so we can get started now. I see we have 2 people watching already. That's good. Thank y'all for coming in. What is this? This is a new button. I want to click it and see what it does. Oh, we have a goal, 10 super chats. $5 teal and higher. 30 minutes. All right. While we're waiting, YouTube is trying to find more ways to help us. That's very good. I appreciate that.
Because it helps them in the long term. Damn, this is
Well,
all I see is this nose like a reindeer.
Not like any reindeer.
Sometimes you get these little thingies. Then what's the time? Cold sores? I don't know, but it's pimple. I eat too much chocolate. Pause. Hey yo. Or is it?
It doesn't appear that our promotions for tonight has started as of yet, which I'm wondering if I should make another phone call right quick and see what the holdup is. I'd like to get going. But I don't want to start before people come in and have to start over. I mean, especially I try and not let, what do they say, bury the lead and push back the important topics. I try and come out swinging hard. And, we got this A plus 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 economy, and we have Kristi Noem. And the combination of those two alone is an hour's worth of segment, to be honest. This is beyond unbelievable. I just plugged this in. Let me see what has happened. Let me call back because we can't wait forever to get started. It's only been 11 minutes. Still a while. Uh, Calling the right number? Like this can't this is not it. I'm sorry. It already started. 20 minutes? Yeah, what did you say? I didn't was okay. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. People have to catch up. I'm gonna have to recap. All right, thank you. Well, we're gonna get rolling because we're 12 minutes in. We got people watching. There's only two people. People are going to eventually see that we're on. Hello, and welcome to the think tank, where we use critical thinking, deductive reasoning, and just a pinch of common sense to draw unbiased and logical conclusions. Today, we're here to talk about quite a few topics. We have affordability. We have Kristi Noem. We have America seizing a Venezuelan oil tanker. NYPD officers getting arrested or getting injured during an ICE raid. The fact that California's National Guard has been released from federalization are going to be returned back to the states. The black box warning on COVID vaccines, which is something that I know my co-host is going to love. Buying
That's
40
20%.
billion in, buying 40 billion in treasuries and what that might mean, and 5-year social media history is now necessary to enter the country. We're going to start at the top. First, I'm Leonard Sanderson, your host. I do some filming stuff, and I'm getting ready to start my first feature film. Maybe you'll support us in helping grow that. Please like, share, subscribe, help the channel. We are live every Sunday, 9 p.m. We may not be here next Sunday, or I might have to have somebody, we might have to do a live for somebody else to fill that Sunday. Can't leave a gap. I have to figure that out. But I'm gonna let my co-host, the Honorable Dion Powell, introduce himself. Dion.
Hey, family, I'm District Leader Dion Powell of the Bronx Conservative Party, consultant, community organizer, and pro America First side of the MAGA family. And this is the I know black, I Dominican look because I went to the a gala. and got our award for the Bronx Third Party on behalf of the Dominican American Republican Club.
Congratulations.
You might see it on my Facebook.
Nice. Well, I guess we'll get started. We're going to talk about something near and dear to the hearts of the average American: affordability. Trump ran on so-called affordability, even though I do believe Dion has something to say about that. Dion, would you like to
He
fact
didn't
check me?
use that. He didn't use that word. Trump didn't run on affordability. He ran on what? Closing the border. All that affordability language was all liberal, progressive, democratic, socialist stuff. So I'll give him that. But now, because of the recent wins of the Democratic Party, the term affordability has moved over to the right as a talking point. So I will give the left side credit for that word being used.
And then I'm just going to bring up a little history. Oh God, I know it's like kryptonite to the MAGA Republic. I said it: history, history, history. Donald Trump ran on bringing prices down on day one. Now, I understand that etymology and the meaning of words might be a little difficult for some people, but affordability is the reason people wanted the prices to come down. They wanted the prices to come down so that they can afford to live. So he didn't run under the term affordability, but for
Thank
those
you.
of us who use a dictionary once in our lives, or even if you want to use Google AI, when he said he was going to bring prices down, it was him running on affordability. But
Do whatever you just say.
uh,
He ran
listen,
on the
okay,
economy.
fine.
Yes, the economy. If you want to use affordability because it's a cool term kids are using to describe the problems with the economy, fine, affordability.
Now, a week or two ago, affordability was a hoax. It was something the Democrats made up. It wasn't real. It was a hoax. Affordability being a hoax is something that Donald Trump spoke on multiple times, even though he was going to bring prices down on day one. Now, I'm not an economist. Let me lead with that. And then I'm going to dig in a little bit because bringing prices down, if prices really fell and really dropped the way Trump promised he would make them do while he was running, as someone who is not an economist, once again, I would say that's something that sounds like I might have heard in history class called deflation, which, believe it or not, is actually worse than inflation. If prices are really coming down significantly and quickly, your country is doomed. Because what that means is the only reason prices will come down is if people can't afford to buy stuff and people have to drop the prices. And if people are dropping prices in order to still sell goods, with businesses are dropping prices in order to still sell goods, what that means is they're going to try and find other ways to save money because they can't afford to keep the lights on. That means a significant amount of job loss is going to happen. That means a devaluation of the dollar is going to happen. Whatever currency is in your country, in this country today, we use USD, United States dollars. So a affordability crisis leading to deflation would be the end of the dollar, something that no economist would be happy to see. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna jump ahead and show just how serious it is. Inflation has gotten to the point now where, and they're bragging about it. They're bragging about it like it's a good thing. The government has bought 40 billion in treasuries. Dion, do you have any idea what treasuries are?
Nope. Sounds familiar though. It's like one of those keywords that's thrown around like global warming. What is global warming? Who knows? So I'll let you explain to the audience as I sit back and try to digest it, synthesize, and then come back with a quip.
Well, seeing as to how I did used to teach science and environmental science for that matter
Oh, you got a leg up.
at the high school level, I'm not an expert, but I have a little bit of understanding about it. Global warming is a side effect of climate change. So, as the climate changes in some regions, it becomes extremely hot, way hotter than it's supposed to be, way hotter than it historically has been. And it happens every summer and it's getting worse. That is what global warming is. But I digress. We're here to talk about something completely different. I just thought that since terms are being thrown around to make, science, math, and history sound ridiculous, I figured I'd give a little science, math, and history, because these things actually do matter. But according to AI, a treasury are debt obligations issued by the U.S. government to finance its operations. They are considered among the safest and most liquid investments globally because they are backed by the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. What the heck does that mean in English? Let's go through that slowly and figure out what that means. So, debt obligations, instruments of debt, it's credit. Debt obligations is credit. I will loan you debt, and it's debt issued by the government. So basically, a treasury would be something like the government needs to borrow money, and I'll lend the government money, and so that the government can finance its operations. So it's someone lending the government money. You buy a treasury, you're purchasing, you're giving the government money, and it's giving you a treasury. It's going to give you a treasury. It's going to give you something to hold the treasury, and then you're going to get interest on it. But it's not called interest when you're talking about treasury. It's called yield. But yield is basically just interest. And the reason people want treasuries from the U.S. government is because they're considered among the safest and most liquid. That means easiest to turn into cash, make liquid, turn into cash. Investments globally because they are backed by the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. So the U.S. is like, yo, you loan us this money, I got you. You ain't gotta worry. I promise you're gonna see your bread. So, to my understanding, again, I'm not a financial person. I like to read. I know words and on paper like that. Oh my God, now we're talking about big stuff. But I like words. I like to read. Reading is a good way to learn. In education, what we said, well, when I was in education, we said up until second grade, you learn to read. Second grade and beyond, you read to learn. So I'm one of the people that actually read to learn, right? So people use treasuries or other governments levy US treasuries in order to gain interest or yield so that they can actually make a profit because the US government, up until this year, was considered the safest possible way to invest. This year, many countries have decided that based on the incredibly volatile economical policies being done by our current administration, treasuries are not safe. Because of that, treasuries are being sold. Nobody wants U.S. debt because the U.S. is looking crazy right now. So the U.S. had to borrow, or had to buy rather, $40 billion of his own treasuries. What does that mean in English? We're buying our own debt. Which means nobody's investing in the US. That's what it means. And because nobody's investing in the US, taxes will go up because we got to buy our own debt instruments now. This, while the president is saying affordability is a hoax, this is all about money. Dion, I know I just said a mouthful and I did stuff like math and economics and wow, foreign policy, all three things which you do not love. What do you have for me?
Well, my friend, because you are a businessman and I'm a businessman that's dabbled in federal contracts overall, then from the information you provided and educating me on what a treasury is, I did a quick little glance on my little internet here, and it is the equivalent of a fancy way of saying a governmental bond. And
Bond.
as you know, when you do like a multi-million dollar contract, but you don't have the financial capital, sometimes you get a bond as a
A
cushion. You
bond.
say, hey, we can pay this off, and it's going to be
That's
guaranteed
the
by
debt
this
instrument. It's a
bond.
bond. That's correct.
Not to
The
be
debt instrument's a
confused with
bond.
James Bond. So you see, Leo, hopefully that helps our audience digest just that.
Yes, the
However,
bond is the word I was missing. Thank you for that. Bond.
you see, just because you insult MAGA doesn't mean that we're not clever, because there's a difference between being smart and clever, my friend. And I think
Did
I
you
can
see
pull
that I
off the
said the
clever.
word with you without having to look it up? So
But you
I
have to
didn't
throw
have to look it
shade
up
on
because
MAGA, on MAGA's intelligence. You have to throw shade. But anyway, so when it comes to the treasuries, this happens all the time, just like with bonds, when it comes to being in constant flux. Now, the economy under President Trump's leadership and what's going on right now politically, that does reflect the trust, as it were, and faith in the currency system that we have here. So it is what it is, but we'll see what happens next year. Because remember, he'll make a full year in January. So these things take time, and sometimes so long, it may spill over to the next administration. The benefits therein.
I believe what you just said was this is not his economy. Is this the Biden derangement syndrome about to kick in?
No, it's not, because if you look at the data, inflation was higher under Biden, and Trump has brought it
Absolutely not true.
down. Oh, really?
Let's
Well,
look it up.
prove it to me, because I got to see who had more inflation now under President Trump or under President Biden. And if it was high under President Biden, couldn't he blame it on President Trump's administration before that? Or is it down
No,
now
because
thanks to Biden? So we just thank Biden that the economy's inflation is down. Let's see what that damn internet has to say today with its AI.
okay, well, let's do that. Okay, let's share. So the history is Trump's economy was doing well at a point, then everything fell off because COVID came in.
Maximize, and we can't see what you're seeing.
That is maximized.
Oh, I don't see what you're seeing.
The chart on the right, I can't do anything more than that. Uh
Affordability is now and the economy A++, debate,
I have
YouTube
no idea what you're talking
description.
about.
I'll take a screenshot and send it to you. What I'm seeing.
I can't really do anything other than okay, so you can't see the chart. Let me see if I can. I don't know how to uh
I'm gonna have to go into open up the Zoom share and see which window to share at the same time.
am I sharing the wrong window? Is that what's happening?
Yeah,
No, I'm
because you have
sharing the
two
right
monitors.
window.
You have two monitors, so
I'm
sometimes with
sharing the right
Zoom.
window.
Okay, well, I'm gonna show you. I just text you what I'm seeing,
Mhm.
or what we're seeing rather, the audience.
I, I quite understand.
Give it all we
Uh
got. The president sleeps less than me. I sleep 5 hours
why is
a
my
day. The president sleeps.
they're talking about the president, not why the president is falling asleep behind the wheel. You're okay. You're saying this. You're saying. Let me try it again. My screen is showing share the second screen. I don't know why that is. Let me try it again. How about now?
Okay. All right. Yeah. Now I see a line graph, and we all know line graphs don't lie like bar graphs.
That's line graph is going to show whatever data you put into it.
Look at
Okay.
that.
So this was Trump doing very well until COVID hit, and when COVID hit, inflation started to rise, and it
Mm-hmm.
got very high under COVID.
You mean Joe Biden
But
administration?
absolutely during the Biden administration, that is correct. But you know what happened? COVID brought it up, and Biden brought it back down to 3.3. Is that what it is? 3.3. So it was at 3.3 under Biden by the time he left, even though it went up because of COVID, which, if you wanted to blame a previous administration ever in history,
So
I think
again,
that would be, but he brought it back down to
so for
3.3.
4 years, the inflation was high under Biden, but we're going to pivot and blame Trump for it, right? We agree?
No, it wasn't high for 4 years. He brought
It
it
was
back
COVID.
down.
It was a COVID, Trump, or both.
It started going up and kept going up, and he turned it around. The economy is known as the wonder of the world because he saved us.
Why don't you
All right.
go to Yahoo Finance? Everybody loves Yahoo Finance. Yahoo! Remember those commercials?
Currently, inflation's at 5%. That's April 23. No, I don't want that. I need 2025. My apologies.
Put Yahoo Finance.
You like Yahoo Finance. Yahoo Finance they're okay.
Okay, well, let's look at that. Let's look at all these inflation memes.
Right now, inflation is above 4%. So it's higher see, when it started, this is 23, 24. Oh, this is still 24. I said 25. All right, maybe I will try Yahoo.
Still making Biden look bad, but keep trying.
I'm sorry?
Still making
No,
Biden
he brought it
administration
back
look
down.
bad.
This is not rocket science.
It is.
I mean, maybe for some people it is. I'll explain it really quickly, then I'll come back in. For those of y'all who were not alive during COVID,
Whoa.
during COVID, things stopped moving. The economies across the entire planet stopped. And this caused a surge in inflation. When economies opened back up, it was difficult to bring that inflation under control, to reel it in. One of the most successful countries in the world, the most successful country in the world in reining in inflation caused by COVID, they call it COVID inflation, the number one country in the world was, drumroll please, the United States. This country did better than any country in the world in reeling in COVID inflation. So we'll take that and have to keep that when we're talking about inflation. This country was the best in the world. Now, with that being said, where do we stand today?
Well, you're neglecting a few things. Why was the world shut down? Because Biden's administration had the COVID lockdowns. And whereas Trump's administration wanted to open the economy nationally, they said, no, it's not safe. So we're going to keep all people inside their houses to spread COVID inside, and ventilators, King Cuomo II, and business was at a standstill. Then on top of that, they pumped more government money into the economy with all the increase in governmental jobs and stimulus checks. You said it
I
yourself.
don't think, see, you're saying a lot of words.
Word salad, really?
But they're not making any sense. Let me just put a stop to everything you just said and say, you're talking about things that happened in a few states in America, but we're talking about the fact that other countries across the globe shut down. Biden had nothing to do with that. He couldn't tell Japan to shut down. He couldn't tell Italy to shut down. He couldn't tell Europe to shut down. The things that you're saying and blaming on Biden for other countries' business sound wild. That's MAGA mumbo jumbo, MAGA word salad. He has nothing to do with the world shutting down. But I do appreciate your input. Where was I before you started saying these crazy things?
That's crazy.
It is crazy. Almost as crazy as me having to admit that you actually have more fans on this channel than I do, based on the comment section on our videos. But listen, at least I'm man enough to admit it on air. How about that? So, oof. There's nothing under 3%. MSN, the lowest thing we got is beans, dried peas, lentils at 4%, at almost 5%. Well, look at this. They're saying something's coming down here. I'd like to take a look at that. He's bringing it down. Well, that's not interest. That can't be interest. I mean, inflation. The monthly inflation rate paints a rosier picture and gives a better indicator of underlying trends. Kind of say CPI increased 0. Oh, that's CPI. I knew it couldn't be interest. I mean, I keep saying interest couldn't be inflation. That's not possible. Inflation's up. Well, see, everything is up, up, up. So, unfortunately, this economy cannot be rated A++++ by the average person. The only person that's having an A+++ economy is the guy who was able to gain the presidency and avoid jail, and his cohorts, his friends, his investors, his oligarchs, his technocrats, as you call them. What is your interpretation of an A plus? Do you see an A plus economy?
My answer is no. For me, like you said, and I could be wrong, maybe it is a plus economy, but based on my estimations, I would give it maybe a B minus because it's still in progress. Whereas on one hand, people can see in various states the gas prices are finally low. Whereas in other states, people are seeing an increase in what you call foreign goods because of the tariff war, like you said. It depends on what your local needs are. So those are the two comparisons of the economy. Again, these things take time to kick in, but the immediate gratification would be, for example, like gas prices. But an immediate negative
Dion,
results,
do you
I'm just
know that
telling you,
every year? Do you know that every year gas prices go up in the summer and down in the winter? Do you know that's like annual?
really, once
Yes.
again, share the screen, my friend,
I,
because
like,
I'm not
anybody that
disagreeing with
drives
you.
knows this. Like this is you
Yeah,
don't
but I'm not
drive,
disagreeing with
obviously.
you. But under the Biden economy, even in the wintertime, the gas prices were high.
No, they came down under $3 in this the same way.
Let
Sorry,
me ask this
no.
damn internet.
I can ask the internet, but I drove in it. Like you're going by what people are
I don't
saying, and
have
I
my car in
actually
a long time.
go by
Let's see.
experience. Ugh. While you're doing that, so here's the thing: do you pay heat and electric where you live?
Light and gas. That's Con Edison in New York. Oh, yes. Well, I don't pay
How the
heat.
pri-
I just pay electric and gas for
how the prices looking to you?
they seem the same to me, you know. Let's see.
Your your Con Ed bill is the same as it was 2 years ago.
Yeah. Because remember, in New York City, there's a lot of programs, and I'm a part of a program too because New York is a liberal city that has programs to balance out these expenses to supplement it, just like the Affordable Care Act. New York State has a health insurance policies to help supplement when there was no Affordable Care Act. Remember?
So what you're saying is you're not affected because your state, your city is protecting you, so you're not seeing the damage. You're not personally feeling the damage
No.
like some of us are. Like my bill is freaking twice what it was. Like right now, before I'm afraid to see what it's going to be after this with this winter kicking in. I my bill is ridiculous now. The economy is I'm seeing it. So if you wanted to move right now to another apartment, how much would you be able to find something in the same price bracket?
No. But then again, that's a local issue, Leo. On a
That's not
national
local, that's national. The housing crisis
If
is
I
a
moved to
national
Florida,
crisis.
yes, I could find a probably cheaper place in freaking Tennessee. You see what I'm saying? But in New York
Oh,
City,
right. So it what I'm saying is prices are going up. So yes, if you
on a
go
state
from New
by state
York where
basis.
prices if you go from New York where prices were three times what they were in Florida, you can go to Florida and still get something cheaper than New York. But the prices in Florida are still way higher than they were last year. The housing crisis is real. The housing crisis is real. The inflation is happening across the board. Like food is going up. You want to buy something from overseas, it's going up. If you Energy's prices is going up, everything is going up. And a lot of it has to do with this tariff war. Not all of it. There's other bad policies too, but that's the worst one. I think that the reason the energy is going up is because he's taking so much money from the energy programs because he's trying to bring back gas and coal, which, because that's good for the environment and everybody that likes to, I don't know, breathe. Because, breathing is not important. You don't need clean air, I guess. Let's just do all that. But I digress. That we're talking about affordability and prices going up. But let's shift gears. What do you think is going on with the young lady named Kristi Noem? Who is she? Why is she important?
She's the secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. Yes.
DHS. Who are they?
They're the internal, how would you define, they're like
Yo,
the
is
internal,
ICE still in New York? Is ICE still in New York?
but of course,
You seem happy about that. Who's in charge of ICE?
her.
DHS? Okay, so Kristi Noem is the young lady in charge that's got these ICE operations going on. She seems to be in a little bit of hot water. She was interviewed this week to explain some of the going-ons that have occurred. Are
Right.
you aware?
Yes, and she stormed out.
That, why did she storm out? Why would she storm out of an, what is an oversight hearing? What does that mean? What is the oversight committee?
They want to make sure that things are going correctly in your agency or your department. They want to do oversight, meaning like a monitor, a watchdog kind of deal. Understand?
So they're in charge of overseeing DHS, the oversight committee.
In other agencies, yes.
So she stormed out of the people that were in charge of regulating her.
Review. Yes, saying your review. Yes.
Ouch. Why would she walk out?
Well, some people, unfortunately, they're not built like everyone else. For example, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. would have just sat there and taken the L. She didn't, so she just upped and left. All the back and forth and yelling and screaming. So that it bees that way sometimes, unfortunately.
So when a congressional committee, such as the oversight committee, calls someone that is under their charge in for a hearing, what are the rules? Can you just do and say what you want?
No, you're under oath.
So if you're under oath, you're not allowed to lie. If you're not allowed to, and if you do lie, it would be like lying to the judge, right? It would be perjury.
Yeah. Yeah, but the consequences are questionable when you lie under oath to Congress. So sometimes it goes to the next level to the court system. They will issue an indictment or a warrant to bring you, but it's not really a court of law per se. Liability is a little bit different when you're before Congress and you're an elected official. There are certain protections.
Well, I think we're about to find out.
Yes, we are. Because she actually, the rumor mill is she is on thin ice. She may have been in over her head, running the department. So the president, the rumors are circulating on the liberal media that he's not happy, and she may get clipped, as they say. So stay tuned.
Do you know what she perjured herself about?
No.
Let me see if I can find it.
I just think she perjured herself. If she
Oh, she
didn't
perjured herself.
lie, if she obfuscated and omitted and just stormed out, then that was it. If they say, "Hey, ma'am, why is your hair so blonde?" and she just upped and left and said nothing, how is that perjury?
Because that's not what happened.
If she says, "Hey, I use Clorox bleach on my hair," and that was a lie, then bam.
Okay, so yes, that would be. I mean, she stormed out. That would have been. She should have done that before she perjured herself. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem was accused of misleading House Homeland Security Committee members when she said she was departing for a Thursday hearing early to attend another meeting that was actually canceled. So here's the thing. She lied about why she was leaving. She was under oath and lied about why she was leaving. And the reason she did is because she didn't want to answer the question about something that she did, which happened to be being in charge of sending those planes off when the judge told her not to. She didn't want to answer that. And because she didn't want to say, well, yes, I defied a court's order, she lied and said that she had another meeting to go to, a meeting that didn't exist. So in order to avoid perjuring herself, she perjured herself. She's a sharp one, let me tell you. I think Donald Trump likes her because she's pretty. He puts a lot of pretty women around him. She's kind of pretty. I never really looked at her before. Not my type, but
We can't talk like this, sir, during the Great Awakening.
well, I'm pointing out the fact that Donald Trump seems to have a type, and those are the ones that he surrounds himself with.
Don Lemon got fired for less for saying women over 30 are past their prime. Don Lemon.
It appears that she perjured herself, but that's not the only time she perjured herself. She perjured herself in Congress, and then it seems that a judge is kind of ticked off at her too, because she did send them planes off after the judge told her not to. And now they're getting ready to hold her for contempt of court. So it seems that she's in a bunch of hot water. So you're saying, and what y'all are saying is that Trump is saying that she's a hot potato and he's dropping her? Sounds like Trump.
That's just Trump being Trump, because he
That
likes
is.
getting the jobs done. So, there's a lot of blunders with ICE and other details of Homeland Security.
Oh, what blunders are there with ICE? Do
Well,
tell.
Well, we just had an incident here in New York City, which is on the docket in Washington Heights. Well, I wouldn't consider 165th Street and West Side. But anyway, long story short, that there was a scuffle between NYPD and DHS because they were wearing
Oh, I
masks.
didn't hear the story. There was a scuffle?
I don't know if I should label it a scuffle, but long story short, there was a miscommunication when there was a
Oh,
detainee.
no, no, officers got injured. I didn't know the details, but officers got injured. That much I did know.
Well, I look into that because that's local news, Leo. All politics is local. But that's happening across the country where there's been a lot of hiccups when it comes to arrests and ICE and detainees and American citizens and veterans and things of that nature. So again, reflective of leadership. So we'll see what happens.
That was something else that happened with Kristi Noem. That was crazy. That was crazy. Yo, they hunted her. So they was like, so have you ever deported a United States veteran? She said, I've never deported a veteran. Would you like to turn around to the camera? This is the veteran you deported. I was like, oh, they was nailing her left and right. They literally did that to her in a hearing. It was wild. They were hammering her. Like, have you ever deported a veteran? No. Turn around. That's the veteran you deport. And then the look on her face when he's like, yo, why did you, like, yo, this man took 2 bullets for our country. He's like yo, she deported, what? He took 2 bullets for our country. And she deported him. And then came to Congress and lied about it.
I know as a veteran, you must
Despicable.
feel some sort of way. So don't forget
I
that.
do actually. I really,
Yeah.
like, yo, he took 2 bullets for, I never took a bullet for this country. He took 2 bullets for this country. And got treated that way. Like, there's really nothing much more despicable you could do as a country. I mean, I guess you could take food away from 7 million children.
Actually, you could be like the Somalians in Minnesota and take all that government money and send it to Somalia. Isn't that interesting? But we haven't talked about that on this show. Right, Tim Waltz?
Oh, yeah, taking money and sending it to, what is it? What's that country with the soybeans? The other country that begins with an A. Donald Trump said 40 billion, no, yeah, $40 billion to, instead of feeding children, he said $40 billion to. I can't remember. Let me look it up right quick.
We're talking about mismanagement and corruption and things that of that lane and vein. So good luck.
This is not going to be hard to find. I should really have remembered. I can't believe I can't remember. Argentina. I don't even have to look. It's Argentina. Oh, there we go. Argentina.
Oh, we got people in
Yes.
the chat already? Okay, let's see what's going on.
He said, let me change the subject. This is feeling kind of. Thank you, Mason. Word. For real, Mason. A plus plus. Trump looking crazy.
Mhm.
Thank you, Ava. Appreciate it. It's my daughter's name. Love the name. Welcome, Kristi. Welcome back.
I don't see Kristi.
Due to the popular travel times, people don't want to be on the road when it's cold. Is that what that makes sense?
Where do you see this? Am I missing
GDP
something?
up, rent up, groceries up. With the A plus plus plus. Ha! I'm getting some love in the chat today. Thanks, Aiden. Oh, but Mia got you. Dion asking the real questions. This ain't matching everyday reality. Oh no, that's got to be a bot.
Exactly. Okay, I see Kristi now. Okay.
Because everybody else is actually talking about what I'm talking about. Somebody just gave you, or maybe no, it don't have to be. Maybe Mia thinks that I'm you because she's supporting what I'm saying, but she used your name. No, I mean, asking real questions ain't matching. This ain't matching everyday reality. That's what I'm saying. Or maybe she thinks that her prices aren't going up and she doesn't see it in her world. Maybe she lives in a rent control building with everything under control and is not feeling the price difference. Maybe she's living in a bubble somewhere. But thank you for everybody for coming. I see we have a lot of watches tonight. A lot of people who joined us. Thank you for coming to show and support. I appreciate it. So you were saying about Argentina and Trump giving $40 billion to a country that wound up stealing from our farmers by taking their business and throwing a big party with the money because the person in charge was a dictator. What were you saying about Argentina?
You brought up Argentina. I said
Oh, my
Somalians
bad.
in Minnesota under Governor Tim Walz's administration. So you see leadership when it comes to mismanagement and handling of things, back to Secretary Noem, is the same way with ICE. Because, they wasted a lot of money, trying to recruit people, having goals for agents and things of that nature. So it happens. I'm a type of person in MAGA, America First, where I can critique the winning team, which is us. But as you can see, a lot of Congress people are retiring and not running for re-election. So that's a really big thing going on right now, especially on the right side. So we'll see what happens in the midterms next year.
I mean, you already got hammered a couple of weeks ago. As a matter of fact, when is the last time a blue seat got flipped? We flipped like 200 red seats. How many blue seats got flipped?
Wait, you mean Congress?
Across the nation?
Okay, well, that's
Zero. The answer is zero. The answer is zero.
You mean so far, you mean all the Democrats across the country in all the various elections won?
Yeah. According to the stats that I found, yes. But hundreds of red seats have flipped. But
Right.
there are people that are holding on to their seats in MAGA territory, though. They're having a struggling time, but they are doing it. But as you said, the big beautiful bill hasn't hit yet. So if it's this
I didn't
bad
say
now,
that
wait
one.
till
Okay.
next year.
I didn't say that one, but yes, let's see what happens next year, as they say. Kick the can down the road.
So Trump is going to dump Kristi Noem. He's going to dump Kash Patel. It seems that his administration is falling apart. What about the fact that, well, since we're talking about people that are getting kicked out and getting dumped and are taking hits for Putin? I'm sorry, I said Putin. I think that might have been what's that, Freudian slip for Donald Trump when he has. I don't know. I think I was the first Putin pundit to say it. I believe no one said it before me. I believe I had a video up about the entire thing that we're going into Venezuela for oil. And now everybody seems to have realized it. Thank y'all for catching up. But at the think tank, that's what we do. We predict the future by using critical thinking, deductive reasoning, and common sense and being like, yo, hold up, time out. This means that. So Donald Trump, his administration has snuck and took a Venezuelan oil tanker. Why do you think that Donald Trump's Hegseth, Department of Defense, Hegseth, I mean, legally, on the documents, it's still written defense because you can't legally change the name the way he did. He likes to make a big show of it in the media, but when the paperwork is done in the courts, it's called defense, even when the government does it. Even Donald Trump's attorneys have wrote it as defense, which, just for the record.
Just like the Gulf of America, right? Pronouns, they,
Now, the
them,
Gulf of
him, her,
America,
his, I.
I don't know about the legality of the Gulf of America. The Gulf of America might have, I don't think so, but I know for a fact it's the Department of Defense still. on legal paper. Probably the Gulf of Mexico too. But I know for a fact the Gulf of the Department of Defense is still the Department of Defense. I believe that change has to come through Congress. I don't know how changing the name of a location goes. I don't know how that works, so I can't say. But I'm just a filmmaker. By the way, if you want to support independent film, I'm trying to put together my first one. You can check out how you can help invest in us, and you can get support out of it for yourself. We have different tiers. Come join. The link is down in the chat box with our disclaimer that we are for entertainment and educational purposes only. Please like, share, subscribe. We're here every Sunday, 9 p.m. And now that I'm done with my little commercial break, back to business. So Putin, let me record him up, after America seized the oil tanker, gave Maduro, the president of Venezuela, a call. Yo, I got you back. In a call of solidarity. Putin is with Venezuela as America seizes Venezuelan oil ships. What is your take on that?
Well, Venezuela, let me check. Is it socialist or communist? Russia came from communism. Also, Russia also does this to other countries that we, as America, attack or combat with. And then we do the same to them for countries that, like the Ukraine. We're like, hey, yeah, go get them, guys. But the fact remains, some people are seeing this, like you said, the hot war situation, very volatile. And
So was that, did I predict that too?
this is the good gossip that happens in politics all the time.
Good gossip.
Some people say North Korea was helping Russia. Oh yeah, they were helping Russia against Ukraine.
Absolutely, 100%.
So there
they
you
sent
go.
troops.
It happens all the time. So
what about the fact that America seized an oil tanker that belonged to Venezuela, one of the most oil-rich countries in the world?
well, from my source,
During a time when Trump was trying to push oil and get rid of green energy. I just thought I'd throw that out there. Maybe a connections, light bulbs or something.
well, hey man, I talked to my guy today, a January 6er. How about that? And he said this is all about hydrogen and how the United States is trying to prevent the world economy and the globalists from switching over to hydrogen. The next thing is I'm also understanding that, just like Pearl Harbor and some other incidents.
So that's why he doesn't like windmills, because of hydrogen?
Huh?
That's why he doesn't like windmills, because of hydrogen?
Well, windmills are known to actually hurt the environment when it comes to
Not true.
whales in the ocean and also birds and some other things. So there are windmills in the Great Plains area that are just rusting away because that's really useless. But we won't talk about that right now. We're talking about the oil carrier and how the United States and some other countries do it as well, menacing or positioning its ships in such a fashion.
What about solar power? What about the tidal power? What about...
Gotta get those chips from China, from the child factory. They don't make those chips here in America. So all the parts of solar panels...
Wait a minute, time out. So let me get this right. So what about all of the deals that Trump did that's bringing the manufacturers here? What about that?
Well, some of those jobs have happened. Some of those jobs aren't happening because what's going on with the immigrant issue, with the border. Remember,
so you're saying that his policies are clashing with each other and his affordability is not coming to fruition?
We're not using that word, affordability. He's using it now, but that's not what he ran on. He ran on the economy.
Well, later for what he ran on, he's right now using affordability. So you're saying you're against Trump using affordability?
We're deviating from the point, which is the oil tanker and how America is positioning its ships in Venezuela, just like some other situations where Venezuela is put in an awkward position that if they so much as sneeze on an American tanker, it can escalate to war. So that's my feeling about that.
So
they're trying to instigate a war. That's exactly the part of America First that we're against: international investments of other countries in wars. So that's how I feel about that. I'm not happy about it at all, like a lot of other America First over here in the MAGA realm.
Headline math instead of household math. We need to bring it down so that it affects us at home. I feel you, Antoine. So here's what it is, right? If this country goes to war with Venezuela, we are igniting a war in the Caribbean, in the Middle Americas, in our own backyard that is being supported. But that backyard that's there, that area, the Middle Americas, is literally like yo, you leave Texas and you go across the border, you're in the Middle Americas. We don't need war, not a hot war there, while Putin is threatening Europe with, I think we can take you. We're looking at what could possibly become right now World War III, and Russia's talking about backing Venezuela during his hot talks with Europe. And by the way, for those of you who don't know and are caught up in MAGA pop propaganda, Russia, Vladimir Putin, has more nuclear weapons than any other country in this planet. Any other country on this planet. I said that right. Yes, indeed. Russia has the most nuclear weapons. So as bad as New York, as America walks around talking that they are, we do not want to go into a hot war with nukes with Russia. They could destroy the world like 70 times over by themselves. So this taking oil, by the way, Russia, the majority of their economy comes from oil. So you're going to Venezuela taking oil. I can see how these guys would say, wait a minute, take communism off the table. Economics, we get. You're an oil-rich country, we're an oil-rich company. Trump has an economy that's built on green energy. He's trying to get rid of that and become an oil country. But the United States doesn't have oil that they can use. They need to get oil from us. So if they're going to attack you, they're going to attack us. We got to stick together because the United States is wilding right now. That's just a way to look at it. What do you think about that?
Well, again, America first, part of MAGA, we're not really with this war stuff. And we're all about drill, baby, drill, and to use our natural resources here. So that's something that should be focused on. But in the meantime, that's why there's a big fracture in the MAGA movement, this situation. Now, again, we're deviating from the drug smuggling and some other nuances, but our border is secure. That is a fact.
We're talking about oil tanker. And to answer your question about oil, which again, drill baby drill is about fracking. Fracking is not for oil.
Well, let's just say use our own natural resources here in this country. How about
but he doesn't want to use our natural resources in this country because we don't have natural. We don't have. Well, that is the problem. You're correct. If he wants to frack, which has nothing to do with oil, he wants to use oil, which is why he wants to go into Venezuela, which is what I told you like months ago. So he's declaring war. He's getting ready to send our troops into Venezuela to try and force a regime change, so that he can enrich himself with oil. This is Iraq too. This is just like Saddam Hussein. Maduro is his Saddam Hussein.
Well, maybe there's truth to that because they're saying that he did, Maduro and Venezuela, interfere with the elections here with Dominion voting systems. So there you go.
Yes.
This is the guy that tried to kill my dad. Remember that?
Yes. Just make something up and run with that. Exactly. So at least California's National Guard is being defederalized. And what that means. So one of Trump's things was he's going to take the National Guard and send them he got ICE agents clashing with police officers. He wants the National Guard. He wants to make people to have fear in our own states and our own residents. And one of the things he did was send troops sent to the National Guard. At one point, he even had the Marines there, which is unheard of. Never before happened in history. But he had the National Guard running up in places, just chilling. Well, some of them were just sitting around sweeping floors, eating hamburgers. There was nothing to do. There's nothing they could really do. That's not what they're meant for. They're not meant to police anything. But the courts is like, all right, enough's enough. You're lying about why they're there. They go home, get out of here. and they're returning the power over the National Guard in California back to California. Is MAGA as a whole upset that Trump got called on his lies and they're not allowing him to use the National Guard to police a state? Posse Comitatus or some law like that? Hello?
You asked me a question?
I did.
Well, again, when it comes to the judge, let's go back to the judge, the federal judge, actually. So no more local state, remember? The judge is correct. The troops were being positioned in other states from California. So it built up a pattern over these months, and they made this decision. So that's how I feel about that.
How do you feel about the fact that Trump did this in the first place?
Well, I felt okay because, again, the local elected officials, like Karen Bass with the fire in California, remember that mismanagement in Ghana from Ghana? They weren't doing their job in terms of policing illegal immigration locally. So the feds had to come in and protect ICE from doing their jobs because the local police were instructed not to. That's the problem the president had, remember? And plus, the people, locals, were happy that, like in DC, federal presence did decrease crime and made their neighborhood safe for Black children to play. There you go.
Is that how you feel? Well, the residents didn't seem to feel that way.
Which ones? The Black ones were happy according to social media.
According to where you watched your social media. But when you talk to people on the ground like I do, because that's what I like to do. I like to actually
Looks like
talk
I'm
to.
disconnected in my ivory tower here in the Bronx.
No, it's more along the lines of you get what one side tells you instead of listening to both sides. I like to listen to both sides so I have a balanced diet and understand what's really happening versus just getting a propaganda feed. In the propaganda feed, they tried to make it sound like everybody was happy. And there's a few Black people that they gave a voice to that spoke for the entire community on the right side, while the community on the left side was like, yo, like I've never been in a place ever in my life where people, unless they were war ravaged, wanted to be policed by the military. I mean, Black people, we wanted to defund the regular police. You think we want the military? What are you talking about? Use your common sense. No way, that's stupid. We don't even want the regular police, but we want the military. That's the story you go. That's the story you're being fed.
Those are the Black people that are with the criminal justice reform stuff. The regular Black people who are affected by
So you're
all the
saying
criminal
I'm not a
justice
regular
were
Black
happy.
person? I'm not with the criminal reform.
Huh? Well, the thing is, when you defund the police, those people, of course, would hate the National Guard there. But the people who are affected by crime, the victims of crime, who are mostly Black, because it is Black on Black crime, they were more than happy to see, like, wow,
That's not true at all.
guys, well, these National Guard here, actually, I feel safer. And then they were attacked by other Black people for speaking up and out, being happy with Uncle Trump.
I see. So, and now you're speaking for me because I'm neither a criminal nor was I happy. So here's what defund the police actually meant. For those of you who don't know, let me break it down real quick.
Oh, gosh.
We did not want to just blanket stop police force. That's stupid. What we wanted was the funding to go into a better. So if you give people a better education and better opportunities, they're less likely to commit crimes. That will make it a lot safer than trying to deal with. So deal with the problem at its base. Give people education. Give them a way to go out and make money so they don't have to resort to crimes. Then you don't need as much police because there won't be as much crime to deal with. So deal with the real problem, not don't deal with the solution, deal with the cause. Because you're waiting to people to be destitute and doing whatever they feel they got to do to survive. And then you're like, oh, well, we're going to send in the police to get them. Instead of like, yeah, of course they're doing what they got to do to survive. They don't have opportunities to do anything else. Put that money to helping them to do something else, to do something better for themselves, and you won't have such a high crime rate. You won't need such a large police force. That was what defund the police meant. but you're shaking your head like what I said was complicated.
Democratic controlled under Biden, House, Senate, and President. Democrat controlled sanctuary cities. They would have done that by now, but they have not. New York State, our education system is horrible, yet it's the most expensive. We pay the most per pupil. I say that to say that all that is nice and fluffy talk. But when it came to ICE coming in after the president's landslide victory to clean up house with these migrants, the local police weren't being very supportive and they were being attacked. So he sent the National Guard to give them some cover. Make sense?
Right. That's why ICE is clashing with police. No, doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. No. That's why ICE is attacking police officers. No, it sounds like he's just got a private police force and he's trying to rule by force. And that's what it sounds like to me. And that's what the optics seem to appear to be. Well, we do have some good news for you. There was a black box warning. Oh, hold up. It's like high stress causing a headache and doing a de-stressing activity like deep breathing rather than taking ibuprofen. Yes, deal with the cause of the problem, not the symptom. You're attending the police, you're dealing with the symptom. Deal with the cause of the problem. It's like you have high blood pressure, and then you go to the hospital, and instead of dealing with the high blood pressure, you wait till the person's in the hospital and you deal with the fact that the person's having a heart attack. Deal with the high blood pressure. Deal with the cause of the issue, the underlying issue, and then you don't have to deal with the rest of the effects. Deal with the underlying issue. The underlying issue of high crime is poverty. If you have an area that's got poverty, your crime is high. This is true across the board throughout history and time. That's just science and what is that? History.
But the history is Democrats control these cities with all these bright ideas. Why hasn't it happened yet after all these years of being in control to actually implement all the wonderful things you're saying? People have been lied to and they feel that way.
So what you're saying is that dealing with people's underlying issues of not having enough money to feed their families would not help the situation? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that
all right,
Democrats
then we're in agreement.
to fix that problem. They keep pointing out. But they keep pointing that scaring Donald Trump and Republicans and the source of your life problem.
I'm not talking about Donald Trump. I'm not talking about the Republicans. I'm talking about the real issue. So instead
the real issue is the Democrats can fix that. They're positioned to fix that, yes, but they won't.
No, we're not in position to fix it. You know who's in position to fix that right now? The people in charge. That's the Republicans right now. So instead of pointing at the Democrats, why are the Republicans not doing something to actually fix the issue then?
They did. They tried to send a National Guard.
That is not fixing the issue. That's dealing with the symptom. Sending in a National Guard is not dealing with the issue, which is the poverty level, which is, guess what? Affordability.
Well, Democrats were in charge under Joe Biden. Why didn't they fix it then?
You know what? I have problems with the way the Democrats do things too. I can go on and on about that. I can. But at the end of the day, at least they're on the right track and not trying to just send in more police. They're trying to figure out how to deal with the economy, which will cause, because if you have a population that feels empowered, that feels like they can afford to live the American dream, they're not committing crimes. That's why crimes are higher in black areas, because black areas tend to be more impoverished, because there is a difference in the amount of money that white areas and black areas make. Guess what? You go into a poor white trash area, the crime is just as high. I promise you. Actually, it's higher. Their crimes is crazier. It's not about race. It's about economics. And because the MAGA doesn't understand that, y'all bring up, oh, it's black this, black that. It's not about black. It's about money. You go into a black area and everybody's rich, the crime ain't high there, is it? Duh. All right. Then.
Again, when it comes to the National Guard's presence in these hoods, a fair amount of the hood, if not majority, were happy they were just there to exist. That was my point in saying that.
And what I'm saying is sending in the National Guard did not bring down the crime rate, obviously, because if it was really doing something, then they wouldn't have to leave. All they did, because I tell
They
you the
can't be
truth.
used like that. That's the problem. The local law
I don't want
enforcement
to
is
walk out my
concerned.
door and be looking at police and military uniforms. Do you? Do you really like that?
Yes.
Do you?
Boy, do I feel safe. I don't want to walk in my door and see a whole bunch of people just standing on the corner, just
Aren't you the
chilling.
same person that goes canvassing in the projects? You don't seem very worried.
That's because I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional.
All
But
right then, so
still,
you're not really worried. So then you're not feeling unsafe. You're lying.
people in the hood don't want things to change. People want change, but they don't want to change. Therefore,
Wait,
very
no,
little
no,
will
no, no, no,
change.
no. If this was Congress, you'd have just perjured yourself. You
So,
just said that you feel safer with the National Guard there. Then you said, well, you know what you're doing, so you're not worried. You can't have it both ways. Either you're
well,
worried or you're
yeah, I
not.
can
What you
feel
just
safe. The
said.
National Guard's there, and I can also feel safe because I know what I'm doing. Two things to be
So
right at
then you
the same
don't need the
time.
National Guard to feel safe. So you're just saying that they make you feel safe. But you're comfortable regardless. So you're lying.
I'm
You're
talking about
lying to try and
everybody
sound good.
else, not just Dion. I'm talking about everybody else. Like the wonderful, beautiful princesses you have sitting behind you. Don't you want them to walk down the street by themselves? Do they feel safer with National Guard there or not there? How would you feel, Leo? They're walking down the street.
I feel safer. The truth of the matter is, I feel like the average black person feels safer walking through the hood, past crackheads and everything else, than they do walking past police. That's the truth.
But who kills them more, the police or the other black people in the hood?
You said how do they feel safer? So they won't get killed, but they'll get harassed. They'll get drug off to jail. They'll get. You're more likely. I am more likely to get harassed by a police officer than another black person.
But you're more likely to be killed than a black person than a police officer. Now that's a fact.
This is because there's just more black
What's the
people
next item on the agenda, Leo?
by
Kennedy.
yes, because you're scared to have the truth in math. I was about to say something mathematical,
Like
so
the
that would have
COVID
been too much.
vaccines, which are proven to be harmful long term, like we knew 5 years ago.
Yes, indeed, that is true.
Oh, yes. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy. Disclaimer, I used to work for his PAC when he ran for president. That's journalism, by the way. Transparency. I have a bias. That's what that means.
Yes, and it's actually true. The vaccines were proven to be harmful. Operation Warp Speed was a dud. It wound up being dangerous and hurting people. Oh man, if only Operation Warp Speed wasn't rushed. Who do we blame for that? Who do you blame for Operation Warp Speed?
That would be President Trump, my friend.
So President Trump sped these vaccines along that became dangerous? Well, you know what? I don't blame him. He was trying to do something right. And here's what we're going I have to say Trump was trying to do something right. He was trying to do something to fight a disease that was killing stupid amounts of people, vast amounts of people at an alarming rate. He tried to do something right. It didn't work out to the best that it could. I don't blame him for that.
But the
That's
Biden
something I say he did right.
administration got it wrong with the word that comes up repeatedly for me, mandated. Once they mandated, that's when it became political. When it could have been just optional. Maybe the country would have been in a better place, but they mandated it. And they forced these people, I'm sorry, coerced is the word, these people to take the vaccine. Otherwise, they can go to a restaurant with their vaccine card or go to work or keep a job. Remember the Coast Guard officers that were fired for not taking the vaccine, Leo? You're a veteran, right? So on and on and on. But now it looks like the people that were paranoid with their conspiracy theories about the Dr. Fauci ouchie, causing all these hashtag sudden death. If you look at that on X, there you go. A hashtag died suddenly on X. You look at that one. There you go.
Oh, just because that little dot on your nose, a little bit of toothpaste
It's all you can
overnight
see
will make
now,
it.
right? That's all you people can see. No.
Yeah, a little toothpaste on it will make that dry up. It'll be
Ugly.
gone. It'll be gone by tomorrow morning. A little toothpaste.
Toothpaste? I think I'm gonna do that when I get up the line. Put toothpaste on it.
Yeah, actually, it'll dry it up.
But what do you think, Leo? You love your
About
vaccines, don't you? So tell us how wonderful the COVID vaccine is and where we are today.
when did you come under the impression that I love vaccines? When did you become under the impression that I supported the Dr. Fauci ouchie? I've never once said that. In fact, I've said exactly the
You
opposite.
just said opposite. We said Operation Warp Speed. You were just praising how great it was.
I didn't say how great it was. I said I understood the concept and why he did it and agreed with the thought behind it, which is we have people dying at an alarming rate. Something must be done. He took charge. He made a decision. It did not turn out to be the best, but we don't know how many lives he saved. I'm not going to blame him for that. I'm not going to say I'm in love with vaccinations. But there are some that I do love. I don't know. I don't know. I would have done something different in his shoes. Like I've seen American citizens drop like flies. I don't know about you, but I'm from New York. And when COVID hit on my timeline, I was watching people I knew younger than me drop like flies left and right. Something being done, I'm happy about it. Was I happy about this shot? Did I want to take it? No. I certainly did not.
Leo?
But so, full disclaimer, I had already gotten the disease, so I already knew that I had an immunity to it. So for me,
did you get the shot, Leo? I am not vaccinated for the public record for COVID. Your turn, Leo.
I did take the shot, and the reason I took the shot.
Which one?
First one.
Was the Pfizer, the Moderna, or the Johnson & Johnson? Remember that options family? Leo,
I don't even remember. I didn't want any of them. The honest to God, the only reason I took it is because my oldest daughter took it, and I said if she took it, then I'm gonna take it too. If she didn't take it, I would have never taken it.
Yes, that was our slogan too. A family that's vaccinated together is safe together.
I wouldn't let my youngest daughter take it.
Oh, okay. Well, she's not vaccinated, Leo?
No.
And she go to school?
Yes.
Does she have a vaccine card?
No, she's not vaccinated, Dion.
Okay. Well, I have a vaccine card, by the way. Wink.
Well, my daughter does not.
All right.
So, I was not for these shots. Okay? All right. So, when you're coming at it, let's history and facts matter. Math, science, history.
So, how do you feel about the science that so many people trusted back then? Because I trust the science. How do you feel now about the science, Leo, that's being presented? I never trusted
Dr. Fauci. I never trusted Dr. Fauci. Matter of fact, when he was testifying before Congress and committed perjury by saying there was no gain of function. What is gain of function? Gain of function is the ability of an MRA or disease that is a virus-like disease, an MRA, to go from an animal into a human being. It's called gain of function. And when Congress questioned him, he said, no, it did not have gain of function. And then they said, could it go from a bat to a human? And he said, yes. And then Congress looked at him. He's like, wait, but isn't that gain of function? He said, no. He said, what's the definition of gain of function? He said, to go from an animal to a human. And that was kind of like, he said this on CNN. So, I mean, you know, I pay attention to what's going on. Is that not what happened, Dion? Do you recall that?
Well, yes, I did, amongst all things. But
that's being the biggest one. The fact that he perjured himself and admitted that he had a lab in China that developed a COVID virus that had gain of function in a bat that could go from a bat to a human. When he admitted that in front of Congress on CNN, he did that. He admitted that he had a COVID disease that could do that. But the disease didn't come from there. And then I was like, yo, hold up. But it came from Wuhan, China, right? And it came from a cave in Wuhan, China, because that's where the virus came from. And since we're doing this, I used to teach this to my classroom too. I gave this to my classroom. I did, because, you know, facts matter. And I'm going to, right quick, I've taught this, I've given this to many of my students, but I will do it here because it's something I've wanted to do. Ladies and gentlemen, are you seeing it, Dion? This is Wuhan, China, where COVID came from.
Okay.
This is Wuhan.
China.
This is where they said it came from, a cave. Okay. Well, Wuhan, that's where it came from, a cave.
I thought it was from eating bat soup. Remember that? Those images.
Bat soup in a cave. Yes, they was in a cave eating bat. Well,
drinking bat soup.
Yeah. That's Wuhan, China. I'm more likely to believe it came from a lab than from somebody eating bat soup in some back. Like, come on, did you see Wuhan, bro? Stop it. Stop it. That Wuhan is a well. If New York City looked like Wuhan, y'all be lit. It's what yo seriously though. I think Wuhan is like the second largest city in China, if I remember correctly. I forget. It's way bigger than New York.
You do a lot of manufacturing, if I recall, right?
And they have a lot of laboratories. And if that's Wuhan, China, then no, it probably didn't come from somebody eating bat soup. I don't believe you. You're lying. You're lying. But again, see, this is where it comes that I'm not a Democrat or Republican. I can call it down the middle and say it like it is. Because even you didn't know that Wuhan was like a beautiful city. And so now when I just saw your face when I showed Wuhan, your eyes lit up.
Just like,
you was like, yo, damn,
some of
that's
the
Wuhan?
African cities that happen out there. Wakanda. You know, it's not what the imagery our media shows us of these places because
that's why now you see why I
bubbles.
showed it. Now you see why I had to show it. I'm like, yo, I got to show this. Like, that's Wuhan. So
It's
when
not
they
an
like, yo,
whole country like they try to make us believe.
yes, right. That's why the picture's worth 1,000 words. Once you saw it even though you had all your conspiracy theories, and not saying that they're wrong or right, I believe them too. So it's not a shot at you. Even though you had all your conspiracy theories, when you saw it, it was like, yo, I'm right. Right? Like like, yo, this is they told us it came from bat soup in this city? Nah, yo, you lying. Anyway, so the COVID vaccines in this orchestrated disease. Now, whether it was released on purpose or by accident, I don't know. I know that Dr. Fauci lied. I know that it came from that city, so I don't believe it came from bat soup.
So
I just don't believe
Leo,
that.
is if the COVID vaccine wasn't safe, what does it say about the other vaccines that Kennedy and his team are cleaning house on? That's our point
Well,
on
I'm
this
glad we're
side
going to
of
finish this now. Full
Mahaga.
circle. Full circle. So, yes, that vaccine that was rushed under President Trump was bad. But when you have a vaccine that stops things like the mumps, measles, RMP, that stops whooping cough, when you have vaccinations that are saving hundreds of thousands, if not millions of lives, I have to say, maybe that's a good thing.
Or maybe we
Now,
explore it further. Number one, by not mandating it. That way, the government and the companies should be liable of it. Or making sure that there's further study into how many people are now using the term vaccine injury, which was conspiracy theory, and how many people actually died from those vaccines and sudden infant death syndrome from the babies that got these vaccines. Where's the correlation for that side of the fence? Hopefully, that information will come out thanks to my man Kennedy.
well, I would like to dispel one rumor
Oh,
that
Dion, you're trying to scare me. Well, look at it now.
I would like to dispel one rumor that is so completely ridiculous that I can't believe I hear it, but I gotta address
Let's
it.
hear this one, Leo, because they said the COVID science was ridiculous and they called us crazy. We'll go ahead.
Somewhere somebody started a rumor in the MAGA realm, probably some
Maha
bot in
realm. Was it the
probably
MAGA realm or Maha realm? There's difference.
probably some bot in Africa, since that's where most of the theories came from.
Not Russia. Not Russia.
No, well, no, the bots were hired in Africa. We know which countries the MAGA bots come from now, because Elon Musk exposed it. Thank you, Elon. We know they come from Africa. We know that the majority of MAGA influencers come from Africa because Elon Musk exposed it on X. Thank you, Elon. But I digress. That's not what this is about. When the rumor came out that vaccinations were never studied to make sure they were safe, that is borderline stupid. Now, I want to say that's just plain stupid.
Oh,
to believe that there are scientists that just didn't even bother to study it. I mean, that's just stupid. Just stupid. I happen to know a couple of scientists. No, doctors didn't study it unless they had their doctorate in something like biology or chemistry, because those are the doctors that did study it. The biologists and the chemists. They were doctors that studied the vaccines, and their studies have concluded their safety. Now, further testing, I'm always for checking in and double checking, getting second and third opinions. But let's not do it under the illusion that these things were never done before, because that's stupid. And that's just stupid.
Okay, they called us crazy then, but look at us now. So,
Have you
Leo,
ever known
I don't
somebody to go to
know.
school? Have you ever known somebody to go to school for medicine ever?
Yes,
Ever?
my optometrist, I went to college with him. He was the student government president before my
Okay,
administration.
cool. Right. Oh, that's awesome, bro. Have you ever had a conversation with him about classes he took in biology?
Not in that depth, my friend. But
Well,
then
then
again,
you,
I
th-
do know doctors that do question and not vaccinated. I do know those guys too, and they participate in my events as well.
I
So,
understand. If you speak to them, ask them what they have learned about the studies on vaccinations and if they are studied. Even though they don't believe the results, I guarantee you they'll tell you that they studied the fact that these vaccinations had to be studied. It's kind of like par for the course when you're taking biology and trying to be a doctor. Like, how do you not study that? Like, like what is that? Orgo? I think it's orgo, if I remember correctly. Organic chemistries. No, that's organic chemistry. They study these things. This is what they do. They study. It's chemistry. It's not biology actually. It's chemistry that studies the vaccinations. Well, I guess it's a combination of chemistry and biology
yes,
because you
it
have to
is.
study.
Yes, it is. A combination.
Right. So it's orgo probably. But I digress. Anybody in the chat know the answer to that one? Can y'all help me out? Anybody, but it's
Let's
not a
see
lot
what's
of
going
people.
on over there.
Because it's definitely something that they studied in college. And these vaccinations have been studied, but new studies can find new things. But let's not pretend that studies haven't been done in the past. And canceling the mandates will probably kill immunologists. Somebody in the chat just said there's an entire degree dedicated to studying the vaccinations and immunity, and they're called immunologists. Thank you, Kristi.
Well, again, Kennedy's administration has actually separated the combination of MMR with measles, mumps, and rubella for one shot and actually delineated, and now it's not mandatory. And look at some other good work that he's doing. So he's actually the second most popular politician in America, Robert F. Kennedy, according to what the Harvard Review, or whatever poll it was. So he's doing a good job, even though they're calling for his impeachment.
I think they're calling for his impeachment because of the amount of people that are dying and going to die under his terrible rule,
How many people
where
he's
he,
saving right now? Because he was right about that COVID vaccine, looks like.
well, that was Trump's, his boss warp speeded the
No,
vaccine in the
no, not the
first place.
mandatory. Remember, that was Biden. And the lockdown that hurt the economy, like keep businesses closed for so long. That was Biden.
Every country in the world did, or every
New
major
York
country in the world.
was shut down, and New York is the financial capital of the world. So if you shut New York down, that will affect the world's economy. Wouldn't you think so?
I would think the fact that the other countries in the world shut down affected the other countries in the world. If flights can't go in and out, if which happened under Trump, if it happened under Trump, if you can't, Italy shut down. Look at the countries that shut down. You're talking about New York when the countries shut down. You're trying to blame Biden. It's almost like you have Biden derangement syndrome. You're blaming Biden for what other countries did.
Well, you're blaming Trump for the vaccine when he
I'm not
didn't
blaming
mandate.
Trump for the vaccine. I'm stating the facts that Trump did have a policy to create that vaccine at an accelerated rate, which he called Project Warp Speed, while Biden cannot possibly tell other countries they have to shut down. So the comparison and contrast of what we're saying is I'm saying something that's factual. You're using MAGA facts in
Where, like,
history.
remember the WHO, the WHO? Remember Trump bucked against those guys? Those are the ones we should point the blame of. And remember, Trump wanted to remove us from the WHO and defund the WHO and those kind of institutions globally because they got it wrong. Looks like he was right. But the world listened to the WHO instead of Donald Trump.
Right, dag, the world got it wrong. They listened to doctors instead of Trump.
And now so many people are hurt and dying and vaccine injured
And
from the
how many
mandatory program.
lives were saved?
We can't compare that data because they won't explore how many people have died and are injured from taking the Dr. Fauci ouchie.
We will say that
People got worse
we
and
will
died
say
more
that
so.
we will say people are not dropping dead like flies from COVID anymore. So being that hundreds of people were dying a day and now nobody's dying or very few people are dying, I'd say the numbers are looking pretty good.
Well, we don't know what those deaths were from, mostly COVID, because still at the time in present day, the number one cause of death in America is heart disease, and then certain cancers, and then some other ailments, the pre-existing conditions, and then allegedly the COVID down here somewhere. So the numbers didn't add up to what you're talking about at the time.
So
That was
you
all
live in
media
New York and
scare and
didn't
hype.
you live in New York and
Mhm.
you didn't know that people were dying left and right, that they literally had wagons outside full of dead bodies from all of the people that were dying. You lived in New York and you're in denial about that for real?
No, but remember, our
So
King
that
Kong
what are you
II was
talking
putting
about?
COVID people into senior centers. All the seniors that died because of mismanagement by the Democrat governor King Cuomo II, those are the massive deaths, including my aunt that was in a senior center in 2020. So that was what happened, my friend.
Well,
All
that's
those
why I brought up
bodies.
all of the people that died that are
And
younger
in
than me because
hospitals that were overcrowded. Remember we had the USS Mercury?
overcrowded
Mercy?
hospitals. That's how bad it was. We had overcrowded hospitals. So maybe something needed to be done in Operation Warp Speed might have been, even though it had its problems, definitely better than overcrowded hospitals with people dying. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe math is a problem. Overcrowded hospitals and people dying versus anything else. I think that if the problem was so bad that we had overcrowded hospitals and people dying because they couldn't even get inside to get the ventilators, I don't know how this is really a conversation.
Me neither. But then again, we feel vindicated from the MAGA movement that didn't take the vaccine, and we pray for all those that did, and that's how I want to end that.
And I'm sorry for all of those people that did lose somebody like my family did. Lost two of my grandparents. Like I lost people I knew and grew up with younger than me. It was crazy.
And the
It's a
people
bad
that
time.
we know that have died from taking the vaccine, because I had a friend just call me now, somebody else just died from taking their eighth vaccine. So
Eighth vaccine, Jesus Christ. Why are they
yes,
still taking it?
and
So how many
boosters.
people do okay, let's do the math. How many people do you know who died from the vaccine?
Me personally,
Yep.
only from other people. That's about it. I nobody know
So no one. How
individually.
many people do you know who died from COVID?
I can't say.
You just told me you had at least one aunt.
Yeah, she was in a nursing home. But remember, they put the
So you have one
COVID
person that died
patients.
from the vaccine, but nobody who died. You have one person that died from COVID and nobody from the vaccine.
Well, she didn't really. I'm not.
Math.
She didn't really die from COVID. She died from having sick people around her, and nobody went to work. That's how the nursing homes were really hurt. And plus, people were getting fired long term for not taking the vaccine that were essential workers like nurses and
So
doctors.
you're saying the vaccine didn't kill. You're saying that COVID didn't kill her now.
According to the death certificate, it said heart attack. So that's another thing. Those death certificates, some of those are forced to say COVID, by the way. So
Yes, but we had wagons full of dead bodies in overcrowded hospital. A lot of people were dying. That's if you can't deny. Like I mean, this wasn't 50 years ago. This was 4 or 5 years ago. We had wagons full of dead bodies, full of corpses. We had hospitals that you couldn't squeeze inside. This was a horrific, once in a lifetime, once in a century pandemic, and your alternate facts are not going to change that.
the fact remains that long term, you and I both agree, the vaccine has injured millions.
No, we don't both agree that. I don't know that it's injured millions. I haven't seen those
Still,
numbers.
still won't accept the truth, huh,
I
my
don't. I
friend?
haven't seen those numbers. Would you like to show those numbers to me?
Well, it's all over the internet. You know what? I'm gonna let you get behind the driver's seat and you put in COVID vaccine injury and your query and see what comes up now.
Oh
Because
no,
the
you
internet's
show
my
me.
friend.
You have the floor,
Ah,
please.
let's see. Hopefully we'll end here, everybody, because we're going over. Thanks to all the over nearly 3,000 people watching us today. All right, here we go. This is what I was looking at earlier today. I mean, just now. And I just put in something called COVID vaccine. Let's just leave it at that, my friend. Remember, this is Microsoft Bing and enter. Here we go. Now they want to put a warning label on it.
How
Huh?
many people have been injured?
Oh, well, the internet's not going to tell you that because they can't. How
Well, you're,
many
you're giving me these
people
numbers. You said
died
millions of people.
from
Now you're saying they're
COVID
not going to tell us that. How
vaccine?
many people?
Let's see.
Because you're saying millions of people, and I don't believe you.
Now, these are other sites that happen to.
Give me a number. You said millions of people.
This is U.S. News reports. I doubt
Mhm.
very much they're going to report this information because they will probably cause another mass public panic. Let's see. Now they're reviewing it, Leo. They're not going to release those numbers
So
long
you just
term.
made up a big number like millions off the top of your head. Got it. That's what I
Yes,
thought.
based on a pinch of common sense.
No, that is not a picture of common sense. Millions of people are not dying. That's just
It makes
ridiculous.
sense if you had millions, 90% of America vaccinated, and now all the people that died since
I don't think you
2020 in the
understand
present.
math very well. So economics,
Hashtag
math,
died
history,
suddenly.
science.
Hashtag died suddenly. Hashtag suddenly died. Sudden death. And you'll see all that on X, my friend. All the Substack.
Oh, wow. Yes. Go to X and find out numbers.
Okay, well.
Well, I'll give X one thing. They're exposing all the lies, Trump tell. They're exposing the bots. I believe if you go on X and you see how many people died, you're probably getting some false information from Africa, according to Elon Musk.
All right, so Kristi's
Well,
back to
according to
number
what
one.
Elon Musk accidentally revealed when he showed where all those accounts were from. Because that's what he did. He didn't go on and say it. He let people see where the accounts were from, and all those accounts were from Africa. So we know that these are African bots because we can see where the accounts were. They weren't American. So these people influence MAGA and the elections by having accounts there. And of course, you say that's probably not Trump. It's probably not Putin. There's somebody else that's making this, putting hundreds of thousands, possibly millions of dollars up, probably millions of dollars up to influence the MAGA party to vote for Trump. There's somebody that's not Trump and not Putin, but somebody did do it, and that's a fact.
Well, Trump is actually going to release election interference information forthcoming, but we'll hopefully talk about that on the next episode.
I look forward to it because, he did put together, he had his team because he's not that smart. He doesn't even have a.
Trump is not stupid, family. He's not.
No, Trump is not stupid. He's
You
very
said he's
aware.
not smart. He's not stupid.
I
He's
said
a
Elon.
smart guy. He's a very smart man. And on top of
Yeah, I
that,
mean,
he's a successful businessman as well. Damon
he's a
Dash,
successful con man. He's a crook.
in exchange to Charlemagne the God, has proven to him. Damon Dash said to Charlemagne, Donald Trump is a very good, shrewd, and successful businessman. That's a fact.
Yes, we'll take it from Damon Dash because Damon Dash said it is true. Woo! I guess that's the end of that conversation.
And he's a billionaire. So
who's a billionaire? Right. He stole from a lot of people to get there. He's a con man that, some people fall for. He's a smooth talker. He's very good at what he does. What can I say? That he's very good at. Or he used to be. I think he's losing his touch with the dementia.
all right. Well, thank you, Kristi. You're finally back to number one. You started at number 2 status, but now you're back to number 1.
And right. Thanks, Elon, for exposing where their accounts are located. Yes, thank you, Kristi. Kristi is definitely giving that heat. 5 years, 5 year social media history has to be investigated for you to gain access to the country now.
It's called
Why?
betting. It's called betting.
Why do they have to vet people's social media accounts for 5 years?
Well, that's the new
What are they
policy.
looking for?
I don't know.
Oh,
Well,
they said it. They said what they were looking for. Would you like to know what they're looking for?
tell me. It's just betting, in my opinion.
You can't. Well, according to them, you can't get in the country if you said something bad about Trump.
Well, a lot of countries have their own policies for letting people in their country. Finally, we're tightening up shop here in America.
So tightening up shop in America to you is King Trump saying that you can't come in if you said something bad about me on your social media account. That's where we're at.
Looks that way. Because if you look at all the haters and foreign exchange students and all these college campuses, that might be a reason why with all these protests and violent riots. Makes sense to me.
It makes sense to you that if somebody said something bad about Trump in your social media account in the last 5 years, that they're now not going to be allowed into the country because they have a negative opinion about a monster, about Trump?
Let's see what tourism looks like.
Wow.
Yes, my
I
friend.
can't believe you support that. That's crazy. But that's MAGA for you. Whatever Trump says. Got it. It's not a cult. Oh, you said something about Trump, you can't come into the country. No, we're not a cult. Gotcha. That's it. That's all. I guess that's all for today, everybody. It's not a cult, but don't say nothing bad about Trump.
Yes, we have to find a replacement Dion for next week's live. Who will it be? Somebody from the MAGA realm or just another person that told the blue Kool-Aid?
I don't think it's blue Kool-Aid that killed anybody. I think it's the red one. I think if you drink the red Kool-Aid, you're in danger of being in a cult. That's because drinking the Kool-Aid came from Waco, Texas, and guess what color the Kool-Aid was?
Jim Jones.
That would be correct. What color was the Kool-Aid, Dion?
I'm guessing everybody's favorite, which is what? Red?
The red Kool-Aid.
Even though I kind of like the purple when I was a kid, but still.
You would have to be the different one.
With purple packets and just sugar it up. Well, thank family for coming. Remember, like, subscribe, share, and most importantly, we are the media, and now so are you. And that's why you should be able to afford to pay attention to keep this going.
Thank everybody for coming in and joining the chat. Thank you for coming in and watching. We hope to see you. Well, Dion's not going to be here next week. We drop episodes every day. One more time, I'm asking for a little bit of support. I'm putting together a little bit of crowdfunding to try and help finish my first feature film. Been doing film for 15 years. This is my first feature. Any little bit you give can help out. I appreciate. And we have tiers for people that do invest. You can become an associate producer, a co-producer, or even an executive producer. If you give enough that you really help this film, you can even be on the red carpet with us. You can come up to shoots and be there while we're filming and get to meet the cast and crew. Different levels, different tiers. Check out the crowdfunding. It's in the description box. Thanks for coming.